Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Left Off the Map. The recipe I'm cooking first up on this episode is jerk salmon. But I'm going to serve it with some yogurt potatoes, just some roast potatoes with some yogurt on top. So the first thing I need to do is get my potatoes on. So just cut roasting potatoes, all about the same size because you want the potatoes to cook at the same time. I'm going to pop them into some cold water, bring that up to the boil until they're tender. And then we'll strain the water and shake them in the pot to break all the outside to release some starch. And that starch is what's going to give us a crispy finish in the oven. My potatoes are probably halfway through their cooking process, so now I can prep my yogurt and my fish. So yogurt first, just some natural Greek yogurt. And basically we're going to add some spices to it. So cumin, coriander. So pop that into a bowl so we can mix it. We'll add cumin, coriander, a pinch of salt, some dried oregano, and the zest of a lime. And coriander, about a teaspoon of coriander, a teaspoon of cumin, a tablespoon of oregano, some salt, and the zest of this lime. Then mix all that together. And you basically made a dressing that we can put over the top of the potatoes. The one thing I would say is don't put the yogurt, don't put your dressing on your potatoes until you're about to serve. If you put it on there and let it sit, all that hard work that you did trying to get crispy potatoes, you'll lose it. Right, zest. Mix that in. I'm going to add the lime juice to the jerk marinade. Onion, chili and garlic need to be diced so it's nice and small so it can stick to the salmon. And then we've got a little bit of vinegar, apple cider vinegar, palm sugar to balance out that vinegar, half of a lime, we'll use the other half for our dressing, some salt, a little bit of oil and allspice. Oh, and almost forgot, cinnamon. So a little bit of allspice, probably about a teaspoon of allspice and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. You don't need a lot of the cinnamon. And that's it. Put that into a bowl, mix it all together, and then we'll put our fish in. Now your fish, what you're after is a really quick cooking time. So it's going to be a really hot pan, a little bit of oil, and we're going to cut these portions. So we've got two portions here of about 140 grams each. I'm going to cut them in half that way. So we've got four portions that are about 1 centimetre thick. So 4 portions of about 70 grams. They're going to cook really quickly, 2 minutes on one side and 1 minute on the other. And you want to get that good caramelisation on there, so you need a nice hot pan. Okay, so I'll dice this onion, dice my chili, and then move on with the other spices of the jerk mix, get that ready, and then our fish goes in with the marinade, let it sit for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll cook it off. Everything is out, ready to go. My potatoes are done. They're nice and crunchy, nice and golden. Our yogurt dressing's ready to go. Our fish needs to be turned. So that darkened spice on the outside, that's what you're looking for. So jerk, whether it's salmon or jerk chicken, is nice and dark on the outside. There are sort of burnt bits, which is what you want. So while that finishes off for 1 minute in there, I can start to get my potatoes ready. Potatoes done. Fish can go straight into the plates. Turn that off. Actually, might as well cook these bits. And then our dressing. Jerk salmon, crunchy duck fat potatoes and a yogurt dressing. You finish it with some fresh coriander if you wanted to, and maybe a wedge of lime if you wanted to. But that is a pretty yummy dish that I think relies on, once you taste it, the thinness of that salmon is really sort of, for some reason, the salmon stays nice and moist because you've got such a quick cooking time. But give it a go.
We're in the beautiful northwest coast farming region today in the countryside, surrounded by green paddocks and fields everywhere. It's just beautiful. And I'm at Guide Falls Farm with owner Rachel here, who's going to tell me a little bit about what this spectacular area offers, the experiences you can immerse yourself in.
Yeah, beautiful northwest coast. I think we're so lucky here. I think we have more sunny days than rainy days on average. So yeah, I own Guide Falls Farm. We're a paddock to plate venture. We're what we call agritourism. So you can immerse yourself in what life is like to be a farmer. We recently built our restaurant so that people can have that entire paddock to plate experience and be educated about where their food comes from, but also get to taste it because it's really beautiful when it comes directly off the farm. Yeah.
Absolutely. So just out of Burnie. So a lot of the kind of city slickers, also from Hobart, from all over, can come here and get that true farm experience. Kind of become, like you said, become a farmer. And what would that consist of? What would you do?
Oh yeah, so when they come here, they can either do a do-it-yourself tour, so they bring the kids along, we'll give them some food, give them a map of the farm, and everything's really safe for them to go outside. We've got a children's playground attached to the restaurant. I think we built that more for parents than for the kids because the parents can actually enjoy their lunch.
Exactly.
And then they can head out and meet all our friendly animals. Most of our animals are being hand-raised, so it's a really safe spot for families to come and they can interact but still be behind the fence and do it in a safe way. They can stop for lunch or they can come on a private paddock to plate tour with me where we go out and we learn all about what's happening on the farm. We're a real working farm. What's produced here is what people can eat when they sit down at the restaurant. So we can go out and talk about, our practices as farmers, why we farm regeneratively, why that's better for the animals and the environment. And it's a really good way for people to go away feeling real connected with the experience that they've had. And what it leads to is they make different choices when they leave. They can go, okay, the chicken was raised like this for this reason, and because of that, it ended up tasting the best chicken I've ever had in my life. So it's a really good way, and that's why we got into farming in the first place, to show people what's possible in agriculture.
Absolutely, completely transparent.
Yeah.
It's an incredible way to do it, just to exactly let people see for themselves and see what's behind the scenes.
Absolutely, and to know that when you're purchasing or you're here and experiencing it, it's good for the animals, it's good for the environment, and that's why we're here in the first place. Now that the restaurant's finished, it's been a wonderful way to showcase what we do, and it's kind of put the bow on the package for people to come up and experience it.
Absolutely, everything on offer, and I'm thinking I'd love to head out and do one of these paddock to plate tours myself and hopefully snuggle a little fluffy animal.
Yeah, sounds great. We should head off.
So we're out here in the chicken paddock and I spy something very cute in your hands that I think I need to snuggle.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so these just hatched this morning. So these are one of the cutest, fluffiest things we have on our farm. I'd love for you to have a cuddle there.
I would love that. Oh my goodness.
So this is one of the examples of how we farm regeneratively. These baby chickens become something in the restaurant for people to have on their plate, which is all part of the story of why we're farming paddock to plate, is to really showcase to people what's possible.
You say it regeneratively. What's the difference between regeneratively and sustainably?
Okay, so I think regenerative is a relatively new catchphrase that we use in Australia. It probably originated in America, and it's all about leaving things better off than what they started. So regeneration is all about, planting more trees, protecting waterways, improving your soil year after year after year. I think a lot of farms end up their soils aren't as great when they leave it because they're sort of taking a lot out of it to produce crops or produce grass for their cattle, and we're all about improving it. So often what we've done before the chickens come in here is we've brought a whole herd of cattle through here, and what cattle do is they eat down the big, the long grass that we start with. They leave all their manure behind, and then when you bring the chickens through, they'll scratch out all the manure and try and dig for all the worms that are underneath and all the bugs and grubs. So they're getting extra protein and nutrients, but also spreading out the manure so it's getting to more areas of our land and actually improving the soil nutrients in there. So
getting the animals to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfect. Everyone works together.
Absolutely. And because everything's mobile, these can move anywhere on our farm. So what we're doing is moving all that nutrients around our farm. We don't have to buy in fertilizers like some farmers. I don't think they know about it because fertilizer is really expensive. We get fertilizer for free here, and we get chickens, and we get eggs, and we get beef. So I think it's a really great way of farming.
Well, show me what else you've got. I'm just going to take this little guy with me as well. You really do get up close and personal in these paddock to plate tours, don't you? I just got a nice little kiss. A little kiss from one of the beautiful cows behind us. Oh my goodness. What else is part of this tour, this farm tour? What else does it consist of?
So if you can think of a farm animal, we've got one here or more than one. Chickens, for example, we have 300. So
you see a lot of chickens.
As we're going around, we're opening the gate and we're going in with all of them. So horses, we've got lots of goats, we've got a whole flock of sheep we've got a few that we've hand raised that follow you everywhere that you go. Our gorgeous pigs, as you saw before, they know that people mean food, and our customers often come with little white buckets. So when they see people, they definitely want to be right where they are. But so yeah, every farm animal you can imagine, as well as some exotics. We've got an emu here, we've got a deer, we've got trout in our dams as well. Wow. So we've got a little bit of everything.
You really do have it all. Nothing is off limits.
Yeah.
So how long does a typical farm tour go for?
So if you're on one of our do-it-yourself, today we're on our paddock to plate tour, which is about getting as up close and friendly as possible.
So the paddock to plate is with you?
Yes.
And then you can do the farm tour by yourself?
Yeah, so we call it do-it-yourself farmer, grab a bucket and head around. It takes about an hour to go all the way around, whereas with me, we take about 2 hours and we, really immerse ourselves.
You've explained the whole kind of process.
Yep.
How you guys do it, and how you are making such a difference in this kind of farming world.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really nice to share it with people because...
Oh, hello. Hello.
We like really showcasing, you know, seeing cattle like this where they've got lots of grass and they've got full tummies and they're inquisitive. That's really cool. It's, you know, they're not stressed or anything, so it's a really nice place to be.
They're such happy animals. You can really see that, and it makes, I don't know, it makes people happy, and it makes the food, every part of it.
Yeah.
It's so Tasmanian.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys are doing such a good job. It's yeah, incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here at this beautiful Guide Falls farm. You have done such an amazing job, and I cannot wait to go and meet, I'm going to be here all day, I think, all the rest of those other millions of animals you've got scattered around the place.
Yeah, awesome. Enjoy.
If you haven't grown up completely surrounded by animals, which I'm lucky enough to have grown up surrounded by animals, then Guide Falls Farm is a wonderful place to visit to get a bit of a feeling of what it's like to have animals like horses and cows and chickens around you all the time. All right, next recipe, rice pudding, a classic. I'm going to put a little bit of a twist on mine, so I'm doing banana and date rice pudding. And rice puddings, I think, for a rice pudding to be good, it can't be too sweet. So into my pot, get my pot on. I'm going to put about half a litre of cream, half a litre of milk, sorry. That's about half a litre. You can add some more if we need to later. Open that up. And I'm going to use about half a cup of jasmine rice. So pretty easy ratios to remember. Half a litre to half a cup. And half a heaped cup. And then my palm sugar comes in little blocks. I use 1.5 blocks, which is it's about 35 grams. All right, so in with that, I also need some vanilla. About a teaspoon of vanilla paste. And I'm going to put my dates in now. So I'm going to roughly chop some dates. And they're going in now because I want to rehydrate them in the sort of the milky pudding part. So I'm just going to cook that for about 15 minutes until the rice is cooked, basically. So we've got about 10 to 15 minutes to wait now, until we move on to caramelising our banana. Rice pudding has been taken off the heat and is just allowing to be cooled. Depending on how thick or loose you like your rice pudding, at this stage, as it starts to cool, it's going to thicken up a little bit. So you can add a little bit more milk to it if you want, if you like it a bit soupier or a bit looser. Now, raw sugar sprinkled on top of my banana. And just place these in a fry pan, sugar side down. This won't take too long. Just getting some colour. And the little bits of banana that you've got left, these bits, the bits that I didn't chop into diagonal pieces, you can just cut them up and throw them in with your pudding. Just toss that in. These bits, I'll hold on to those just in case I need them. So I'll mix my banana, my fresh banana through. Now I'm just trying to get some colour on one side of my banana. So I can turn that off. They will be cooked. They're done. Now it's time to plate up. Get yourself a nice serving bowl. That's cooled enough. That's ready to go. It's going to be nice and sticky, which it is. Pop. Some caramelised banana on top. Rice pudding, it's important the type of rice that you use. So like I used the jasmine rice. The Tilda jasmine rice is nice and fragrant. It's really, really good for creating sticky dishes like we've got here. Like I like my rice pudding, nice and sticky. And it takes some time. It takes more time, I think, than a risotto, but it's a little bit easier to make than a risotto. You don't have to keep adding and stirring and adding and stirring, but you've just got to nurse it through. So gently, carefully work your way through, and that's how you come up with the best possible rice pudding. And for me, like I said, banana and date rice pudding is something that reminds me, is very nostalgic for me. But you can add any flavours you want. This is a base recipe that you can tweak or change or pimp up as much as you want to. The process really won't change, it's just the flavours that you might add to it may change. All right, well that's it for today's episode. I hope you've learnt a thing or two, I hope you enjoyed the recipes, and we'll see you next time on Left Off the Map.